Hello, students. Today we're going to be talking about copyright and what that means for you as you begin a project or research or as you're completing assignments. Today's objectives is that you will understand copyright and what that might include. You will understand who needs to follow copyrights and why, and you will show how to select resources and correctly cite those resources. So, why are we discussing copyright? As you begin researching for projects and class assignments, you will be looking at, reading, and using information and work created by others to find information and create your own projects. When someone has created an original work, that work is protected. So, what is copyright? Copyright refers to the legal rights to an original work, like a picture, drawing, poem, or song. It outlines who, when, and how someone can make a copy of that original work. Without copyright, creators would not receive compensation for their creative work. Not following copyright laws can have serious consequences, like fines and jail time. But if it's on the internet, anyone can use it, right? No, just because something is on the internet and it's easy to copy and paste, like when you Google something, does not mean that anyone can make a copy and use it. But you're a kid, so you can use anything you find on the internet, right? Nope. Just because you're a student does not mean that you can use anything you find on the internet however you want. You are required to follow copyright laws just like everyone else. Well, why should you even care? Probably no one is ever going to see your school project that would care about copyright laws, right? But you should. Respecting copyright laws is the right thing to do, and it's the law. It's our ethical responsibility to not copy someone else's work. Let's think about this. You've drawn something you are really proud of in art class, and the art teacher has displayed it in the hall. Other students think your drawing is really cool too, and someone takes a picture of your drawing and then uses it to make posters for their upcoming bake sale without your permission. Is that fair? Well, it might make you feel really great that people like your artwork, but it is not fair for them to be using your artwork without your permission. That's your original work. Let's think about another one. Your class wrote poems for an assignment, and the teacher compiled all of the poems into a class book. A student in your class thought your poem was super amazing and turned it into a song that they planned to sing at the talent show without your permission. Is that fair? Again, while you might feel like it is a huge compliment that someone loved your poem so much, using your original work without your permission is not fair. Now, let's think about this. A nature photographer takes a trip to Africa and takes pictures of the animals that live there. While you are researching elephants, you find those pictures in a Google search and just add one to your presentation without their permission. Is that fair? It's not. Just like your drawing and your poem are your original work and people should ask your permission before using them, it's the same with resources that you'll find online. Nature photographers, writers, creators of music and videos, those are their original works and they are protected by copyright. If we are not respectful of all copyright laws, all creative work could slow or stop altogether. Why create if just anyone can take it? So you might now be wondering, how am I going to research and create a presentation or project? Is there anything that I can use on the internet without breaking copyright laws? Well, the good news is there is fair use guidelines for students. There are some special exceptions for education. Students and teachers can use small portions of copyrighted works if they follow fair use and if they cite the source. You have to look at 4 areas. The purpose. If the work is being used for education and is not used to make money, then it would fall under fair use. If the nature of the work is for general readership, like an article, and not for purchase, like a movie, song, or cartoon character, then it falls under fair use. If you're using a very small amount of the work, always think less versus more, like less than 10%, then that can fall under fair use for students. And if using that small amount of work is not going to have a negative effect on sales of that original work, then that also falls under fair use for students. You should go ahead and assume that everything online, like pictures, clip art, songs, videos, and all text, like articles and poems, are copyrighted. Whatever you choose to use, it is important that you cite your source. So even if what you choose to use falls under fair use for students, you should be citing your source. And what that means is that you share where the information came from and you make it clear that it's not your information, that it is an original work that belongs to someone else. So, for example, if you were researching axolotls, you could find an article like this one on Pebble Go. And you could use the author's exact words. You could copy exactly what they wrote, but you would need to make sure that you use quotation marks, showing that you're using someone else's exact words, and you would need to cite the source. And you'll see the site here underneath the website, and you'll see the site here underneath the quote. Here's another example of using an author's exact words. Here's a funny poem. My lunch gave me a tummy ache. And if I use the exact words from the poem, I need to use quotation marks and I need to cite my source. I need to share where I got that information. Sometimes when you're researching, you'll choose to paraphrase. So you'll read information and then you'll put that information into your own words. You're not going to use the author's exact words, you're going to paraphrase. It's still important to cite the source because that information isn't unique from your own brain. It's not your idea. It's not something that you created or discovered as you did a project. It is information from someone else. And so it is still important to cite your source. When you are citing sources, you're going to look for things like authors. You're going to look for things like copyright information and dates that things were copyrighted or created. Some websites for kids, especially research websites, are going to have helpers to help you cite. Like this Pebble Go has information on how to cite the source because the person that created that source wants you to give credit for where you found your information. So when you are citing sources, to make sure that you share where you found your source, try to include the author, the title of the article or the title of the publication or website, the year it was created, the website that you found your information, and the date that you found your information. So here's some examples of some citations. That axolotl article was from Pebble Go. So the title was Axolotls. It was from Pebble Go. The creator of that is Capstone. I picked that up, or I went to that website and found that information on October 30th of 2022, and the website is www.pebblego.com. That fun poem, My Lunch Gave Me a Tummy Ache, here's a citation for that. The author of the poem was Ken Nesbitt, and he wrote that poem in 2022. The title is My Lunch Gave Me a Tummy Ache. It's from Poetry for Kids, which is the name of the site. I visited that site on October 30th, 2022, and the website is poetryforkids.com. So when I'm sharing where I got that information, this is how I would write that out and share that. Here's something really important to remember. Google is not a source. It's just a search engine that helps you look for what you want. So when you find information, you would not cite Google. You wouldn't say, well, I just found my information on Google. Google is just helping you look for information. It's not actually where that information is coming from. You have to click on the links listed in Google if that's what you're choosing to search through to actually find out where your information is coming from. So you might be wondering, how can you add pictures or music to your presentations without violating copyright, without getting in trouble? So if there's a piece of original work that you would really like to use, you can always reach out to ask for permission. Your teacher or myself, the librarian, can help you with that. There might be a wait time and there might be a fee that has to be paid to be able to use that. But there are ways to add media to your presentations without breaking copyright laws for free. You can use sites with royalty-free options. That means you don't have to pay money to use them. Some options are Pixabay, Pexels, and pixforlearning.com. They offer photos, images, videos. Pixabay even offers music and sound effects and GIFs. So let's review. Copyright protects original work from being copied without permission. Everyone must be aware of copyright and follow the law, even you. As students, you can ask permission to use original work. You should definitely cite where you find sources, and you can use royalty-free sources if you'd like to include media like pictures and music. The references that I used is my axolotl article from Pebble Go, the poem from Ken Nesbitt, and I also used a book called Instructional Technology and Media for Learning. And I included these citations here at the end of my presentation to make sure to share that the information that I have in my presentation is not mine. I am using it and citing it.